Ever wonder what is it like to live like a animal? Because apparently this particular development over here is a FIAPSI award-winning development because of its nature habitat inspired, like an ant hive, beehive, bird nest, basically a lot of things incorporated into one particular building. And guys, today we're checking out Skyluxe on the Park by SkyWorld once again. Let's go. As always, before we go into the particular development, just to show you around the area, a lot of cars double park over here. And the main reason for that is because this is actually connected to the Bukit Jalil Park as well. That's the reason why it's called Skyluxe on the Park, right? Because literally walking distance less than 100 meters out your doorsteps, you are already at the Bukit Jalil Park. And not to mention, right, this is a particular area that is actually super convenient. The reason why I say so, if you look over there, that is already the Tropica. So if you want to get groceries, you want to get makan, and a very famous cafe, is also in that part of town. So for you to actually just walk past this area is super convenient. Now enough talking about the surrounding area, let's go check out the development. Now one thing I find very interesting is that for the facade barrier that they have over here, the security barriers, right, they actually went with this sort of like pebble looking stone design, which is something that you don't get to see very that often, because typically people will just put regular fencing, right? This one they have a stone-like, fish-like pebble stone design, which honestly speaking is just a bit more unique lah. And I got to say, right, the entire landscaping over here is super lush, and one part of that is because SkyWorld, this particular developer, right, has always put emphasis on landscaping and also bringing nature to the development itself. One part they want to highlight is mainly purely because they want to reduce the temperature in the particular building itself lah, because they always like to talk about healthy home living, right? Because this particular development over here comes with a public park next to it. The developer also included electrical fences just to add extra safety measures to the development itself lah. I mean, the last thing you want is people climbing in, right? Because that's publicly accessible. I can just imagine myself every single night after dinner walking down here and just walking through the beautiful lake. This is just so nice. This is, as mentioned earlier, a FIAPSI award winner, and also the QLASSIC score that they were actually awarded is 85%, which means this is a development that is internationally recognized as a very good development. So later we're going to check out the entire place, right, and maybe we're going to verbalize why they were awarded the 85%. And on top of that, right, Conquest, which is another quality assurance certification, is also on 80.8. I think SkyWorld has always won this awards across their developments as well. You can see CIDB, QLASSIC, Conquest, PCA. So this place is gelap nak mampu. Of course, this area is going to lit up at night, and you can see they actually have this facade wall panels on the top. And this one, I believe, right, is actually a very SkyWorld kind of design, because we've been to so many of the developments before, and you always have this sort of very different elements within the compound itself. Now, obviously, this is a drop-off lobby that has always looked very grand one. I think all SkyWorld open market products have this sort of main feature right in the middle. So now this is the drop-off lobby, and you can see water features right in front of you. So this particular development only has two blocks, Block A and Block B. Now we are at the waiting area near towards the lift lobby. As you can see, there's also a concierge service over here. Now, oddly enough, there's nobody right now because maybe it's a Sunday. But this one over here just kind of insinuates like you are in a hotel setting, right? Let's just go to the lift lobby, which is just next to it. And there is actually 4 lifts. And guys, just look at the entire landscaping over here on the facility floor of level 9. Honestly, you can really tell the incorporation of all the elements over here. Back there, you have the children's playground, which is like a web kind of like design. Over here is more of like this garden, you know. And this one over here, because all the cryptlets and crawlers is already harvested and already all grown up, right? So it basically kind of encapsulates this particular area. Honestly speaking, this is beautiful. And just look at all the flowers blossoming already. And when we're here, we also saw some bees coming by to actually take some some nectar from the flowers itself. So this is actually looking very nice. And then every single pocket area, right, like up there or towards the other side, towards the swimming pool, these are like all little nestle areas, you know. So if you want to have like a conversation or the facility podium, right, you want to come here during nighttime or morning, you can actually just go to all this pocket area. And honestly speaking, right now it's about 12 p.m. It's not hot at all. I think it's also because we are surrounded with a lot of greeneries, and just look at this landscaping just covering up the entire area on the facility deck. Beautiful. Okay, I was also told by the owner that this swimming pool over here acts as a cooling effect towards the units upstairs. So when hot sun glares into the swimming pool, the water evaporates and go all the way to the balcony, right, actually reducing the temperature by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. And on top of that, right, if you look at the entire facade structure, right, you see there's a lot of breakups in and up, and also a little bit of unstructured design, right. The main intention for that is actually to prevent sun glare into the unit, so making the entire room or the temperature in the house itself reduced by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. That is so interesting. And not to mention, right, just now as I pointed out earlier, this is actually the beautiful lake of Bukit Jalil itself, you know. So this is the beautiful landscaping, and this infinity pool in the facility podium itself is actually facing the beautiful park and the lake right over there. Look at this landscaping. Can you imagine that we're actually in Bukit Jalil right now? And guys, to give you a geolocation of where we're at, right, this is actually a stone throw away from Pavilion Bukit Jalil. Look at that. That over there itself is already the shopping mall. So location-wise, this place is super strategic. Now, why this is one of the habitat, this is part of the habitat that we were talking about just now. This is actually the children's playground, which is the play web. If you look at the entirety over here, right, it kind of gives you that emulation of spider web feel. So if the children wants to come and play, obviously they can do so. This is the spider web design playground. How often do you see a residential development that has such a feature? Typically, you can only see this in shopping malls. Wow, guys, this is actually quite interesting. Personally, if I'm a little bit younger, right, this would have been very interesting because I like running around, right? I don't think I'll be able to fit into that or go into that and come out. So let's not do that. Every SkyWorld development, right, they have a very nice games room. And you can see over here, there's a ping pong table, there's a snooker table, there's a foosball, and even a darts machine. And if all those are not for you, you want to play cricket also can. And oddly enough, right, this particular development also has their own paddle and ping pong balls ready for you. So you don't even have to have yours, you can just play already. So the games room, you actually have this very nice AV station. Now obviously we cannot go in because we need to book it via Jaga app before we can use the facility here. But you can see that this actually comes with those stereo speakers, a TV, karaoke, singing microphones, and also dining area as well. And right next to that is actually the cantilevered gymnasium. This is actually double volume in that sense. So you have one floor downstairs. This is all cardio machines. And upstairs is where I believe you can do the heavyweight liftings. And now this one over here actually still gives you that benefit of viewing towards the greenery as you're doing your treadmill that is facing the beautiful greeneries over there. And right in the facility podium itself, you also have Partners Express, and this is actually private for the residents itself. On top of that, this is actually another cafe also within the development. Now, honestly speaking, when people open cafes like such within a very low density development, right, it always sparks my curiosity. Do they get enough sales to actually sustain their business? Or do they do more takeouts? Or like, what's the thought process over here? As you can see, this is actually a coffee shop. Right now it's closed because of its operating hours. But yeah, this is something that always sparked my curiosity. Can you really sustain with so little density in the unit itself? That makes sense, right? Because the cafe next door is for coffee. Right next to it is already the library. That rhymed a little bit. So look at this place. It is beautiful. You have bean bags, you have books. And I gotta say, if the aircon is running right now, this place is looking very good. Wow. The sauna room is one end to the other. Yo, this sauna room is damn special, you know why? Look at this. Wow, it faces the outside as well. Oh my god. You sit here for a sauna day, right? Then you can even have the beautiful view of the lake. Typically in other sauna rooms, right, you need to bring your own bucket of water. This one over here, like all other SkyWorld Development sauna room, ease of wetting water into the unit. Hey, what more can you ask for from a sauna room? Now we're at the lobby over here, and the first thing you notice, the corridor is very wide, and on top of that, right, it actually enjoys natural air ventilation coming in from this facade barrier over here. You can see this is actually the well and basically air can actually come in from this passageway. On top of that, natural sunlight from these two directions, right, allowing air to actually come into the corridor, making this place natural sunlight with a lot of natural sunlight, and also you can feel the air breeze when you're standing over here. And we are now on the level 23 Sky Garden area that also faces towards the golf course view. I mean, mentioned this many times already, but yeah, this is basically another pocket area for facility. And now the reason why developers usually do this is because they want to actually segregate the facility area to multiple floors, so there's not going to be one particular area that's full of residents. So yeah, a separation of this actually makes sense for condos nowadays as well. Now we are on the 43A or 44th floor. And basically, this is the Sky Deck and Sky View. It kind of gives you an overview of the entire Bukit Jalil. And of course, because Bukit Jalil is also situated on Kuala Lumpur land, which means if a foreigner wants to actually buy a property over here, they can do so because it's 1 million above, you can already. And that is already KLCC, PNB 118, all within not too far proximity. So long your eyes can see, it means that you can drive there at ease. Now, obviously, right now, there's going to be some sort of renovation or retrofit over here because anything that is outdoors is going to have some wear and tear. But this is also kind of this kind of gives you the feeling that this is like the bird nest, right? Because it kind of wants to show you the habitat of nature within the development itself. And on top of that, this is also going to be the Sky Lounge or Sky Bar. So if you want to have some drinks and you want to overview the entire landscape of KLCC, or also just kind of admire the landed properties over here in Bukit Jalil, right, the atas people, then you can do so in this particular view. Wow, just look at these rich people, right? Buying a landed home, building whatever design they want, and also facing towards the Bukit Jalil golf course. After checking out the entire development over here at Skyluxe on the park, I must say that this particular development is so beautiful. And it's no wonder why it's actually the FIAPSI award winner in Malaysia in 2024. Now, in terms of location-wise, right, Bukit Jalil having to be one of the most strategic locations because of its close proximity to Max Highway, MRR2, NKVE. Basically, all the highways also connect to Bukit Jalil for whatever reason, right? And if you look at the entirety of the areas, right, previously it was majority landed developments, but nowadays you can see all condos are coming into the area as well because of how convenient it is to get to Kuala Lumpur, or you want to go to Selangor, even you want to go to the airport, it's all within reach, So one part of Bukit Jalil that I don't really like is the fact that this particular location, it serves as a hotspot for you to actually get connected to other highways, right? Which means that this place gets rather congested. But despite that, right, this is actually a location that is super convenient. If you don't want to drive out also, you can easily walk through the park into Pavilion Bukit Jalil, or you can even just go across the street and use the Jaya Grocer right next door, right, by the other developments. So in terms of proximity towards the amenities around the area, you have practically everything. Not to mention, there's also two universities that's close by, right? There's IMU and there's APIT. Basically, two renowned universities in close proximity to this location. So for temporary need of space, or for people that actually wants to live within this vicinity, there's a lot of rental opportunities as well. And about this particular development, you can see that in terms of the design, the way they actually structure it, I think it's a very SkyWorld DNA product because you can see a lot of different elements incorporated within the property itself. So I think that's pretty much it for this particular condo review. If you like contents like such, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.